Hi everyone, this is Mr. Morales. In this video we are going to use LibreOffice, specifically a program called Base. And this program is a database management system program where we're going to use to create a database. Now in the past we've used Access, and as you can see on my desktop I have the program Access, and Access is by Microsoft, and that too is also a database management system program. But today we're going to use Base, which is by LibreOffice, a different productivity office suite. And let's start using it. Let's double click. And here we have, when we downloaded LibreOffice, we had to download all the programs. We couldn't just choose one. So we're not going to use any of these programs. We're only going to use Base, the Base database. So let's click on that, and it's asking us if we want to create a new database. Yes. Let's click next. Register, sure. Open the database for editing, okay. Click finish. And let's go to the desktop, and let's change the name. So when we create our new database, it's asking us where do we want to save it at. We want to save it to the desktop. What's the name of the file? We're gonna choose your last name followed by first name followed by base, B-A-S-E. Click save. Okay, so now we have this interesting message that comes up. Now some of you guys may get this and some of you may not. So if you do get this error, it says the LibreOffice configuration has been changed. Under Tools, Options, LibreOffice Advanced, select the Java runtime environment you want to have used by LibreOffice. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. You go ahead and do it too. Okay, the connection was not established. Okay, so LibreOffice works with the Java runtime environment, so we need to establish that. So let's go to Tools, Options. Let's go to Advanced, and here it's asking you which runtime environment to choose from. If you have one there, go ahead and click on it. If you don't, I may have to give you other options as to how to solve this issue. Let's click OK. So go ahead and double click on Tables. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to create our table. As you can see under Database, let me backtrack a little bit. So under Database we see 4 objects: Tables object, Queries object, Forms object, and Reports object. All these 4 things are used to create our database. So in this project, what we're going to do is we're going to create an employees database. We want to be able to store employee information, employee data, employee names, phone numbers, and then once we have our database, we want to be able to extract just that data that we need. We want to be able to input the data, and then we also want to present the data. So I'm going to show you all those different steps in this project, or actually I'm going to just show you tables and forms in this project, and then in this video, and in the next video I'll show you queries and reports. So we have tables, so let's create a new table. Let's click on create table in design view, and here it brings up this window, and what we are going to do is we're going to start typing some field names. I forgot to mention one more thing. A table is where we store the data. Okay, and in order to store our data, we need to think of data as a table. Well, think of the table as rows and columns, and each column needs to have a column heading. I'm going to show you that in a bit, but first we need to establish what our column headings are, and we call these field names. Okay, so let's create some field names. Actually, I'm going to type them up really quick and then you just copy them. Okay, I typed some things in there. Go ahead and copy these, and if they go over the column space, just click and drag that. So go ahead and pause the video and copy these field names. So let's take a look at some of these things that we just typed in. So we have ID, first name, last name, title, department, office phone, cell phone, hourly wage, and notes. I mean, there's so many more things we can type in, but this is just an example database. So let's take a look at the first field name. It is ID. Every table needs to have what we call either an ID field, or we call it a primary key. And a primary key is a unique identifier. Now, think of a unique identifier or primary key as your social security number. That makes your table, or that makes that record unique. So, so on paper, you are unique because of your ID. In this case, it's ID. So not two people will have the same ID. So we have the choice of creating this as a text, which is going to be alphanumeric, or we can I mean, there's so many different choices here, and I don't want to overwhelm people with this, but really text is the one we'll use the most because it is alphanumeric and we could type different types of data in there. So we'll leave it as that. We can also choose number, and then if we choose number, we can only type in numbers in that field. But for now, we'll just type text. And like I mentioned, our ID is going to be the primary key, so I right click on ID and I choose primary key, and notice how a little symbol came up. So this is going to be our quote-unquote social security number, if you will, or employee ID number. Okay, now everything else we'll leave as text, first name. Okay, and you know what, I changed my mind. Let's go with ID and let's change that to a number. And everything else, let's see, first name, title. Okay, all these will, even office phone number and cell phone number, we'll leave them as text. Hourly wage, let's change that to a decimal. And here at the bottom under field properties, let's see if we can, let me see if I can show this to you here. I think we can. Yeah, we can barely see it here. We'll change that to two decimal places. So let me scroll down here a bit, and so we changed the decimal places to 2. A format example, we could leave that as is. So once again, format example, we'll leave that as is. So really all we're changing is 2 decimal places. Okay, and let's look at notes. Let's see if we can change the notes. Okay, we'll leave that as text for notes. And for length, let's just add 200. Okay. Okay, so this is how it should look, and let's go ahead and save. We're gonna call this the employees table, or just employees. So once we save it and name it, then we could go to the top right and then close it. And as you can see, under tables we have the employees table, and I'm going to double click on that. Okay, and notice how I mentioned earlier, all we were really doing in the design was creating these column headings: ID, first name, last name, and so on and so forth. And so each one of these is a field, is considered a field, and once we fill it up with a particular employee's information or data, then we call that a record. This entire row is a record, while these columns are considered fields. Okay, now let's go ahead and close our let's close our table by going to the top right. Let's look at how we are going to input data into our table. So we don't want to input data into our table using the tables object. We would like to use a form to do that. So that's why we have the forms object, and this is really just to make it easy for us to insert data. Okay, and let's experiment and let's see what we can do here. Create a form using design wizard, using the design view or the wizard. Let's use the wizard. So let's go ahead and double click on use wizard to create form. Now we get some items here. So under the form wizard here we have it's saying select the fields of your form. So yeah, we're obtaining from the tables object, we're obtaining the employees table. So from here we basically want, we want all of these items. Let's see, yes, there we go. Let me do that again here. So if we want to, what we want to do is be able to input all of these different items, specific information from these fields. So we're going to click on the two double arrows, so then that way those will come out in our form. Okay, so once we do that, let's click on next and let's see what it wants us to do. Add subform. No, we don't need a subform. So let's go next. Oh, here is where we specify a design, and as you can see in the background we have some specific designs here, but let's choose this, the first one. We'll align everything left. Okay, we'll click next. Set data entry. Okay, yes, so we'll to display all data. Okay, next, apply style. Here's where you can change it to whatever you want. Let's just go with bright blue for me. You guys could do whatever you want. Let's just experiment here. 3D look. We'll do the 3D look. Okay, we'll set next. And once again, we'll leave the name as employees. And we will click on finish. And now we have our form. So this is our form, and whatever we type in here, it's a complete reflection of what is going to be saved in our employees table. So let's go ahead and start typing. We'll type one record. We'll start with 1, or we can just type 01 as our ID. And so I'm just going to make up some information, some data here. First name David Atencio, last name, okay, first name is David, last name is Atencio. Title, we'll call him IT Director. Department, information technology. Office phone number, we can start making things up here. Okay, cell phone number. Okay, hourly wage. We'll put $45 an hour. And I'll just put all around great coworker. Okay, so this is just an example. You can make up your own employees, and you'll have to create some department names. Not everybody's gonna have a cell phone number, or actually not everybody, yes, not everybody's gonna have a cell phone number. Only certain employees will have cell phone numbers. So what you want to do is not include cell phone numbers for everyone, just for some people. So the goal is to have let's go with 20 employees. I want everyone to have 20 employees. Not all your employees will have cell phone numbers. I want everybody to have an office number, everybody to have a title and a department. I want you to modify the IDs. IDs are going to be unique for each employee. Their hourly wage is going to be unique also, or not unique, I'm sorry. Their hourly wages is going to be there. Let me see if I could put, okay, there we go. I want people to have dollars and cents for their hourly wage. You can put some notes in there if you want. If not, that's okay. And just periodically save. Go to save. Save your form. So right now all I have is record 1 of 1. If I want to go to the next record, I can navigate here in this area towards the bottom. There's some arrows, and I click on next, and now I'm on record 2 of 2, and I can type another person's information, and I just keep going until I have 20 records. The purpose of having 20 records is because we need data in order to create more operations on that data, to be able to learn and be able to extract just certain parts of the data that we want. Okay, so this concludes the first video, or actually I should say, yeah, the first video on the base database management system, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you. So once you finish adding all the 20 employees, you click save. Save, and then you can close.